What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. Haven't been on that much. Content-wise, I kind of last week was an insane week for me. We had that MPOX momentum, so I really locked in and traded and studied a lot. Right, had a phenomenal week with that one. Took a little break. Been real busy with just other aspects of my life. And tackling that, right? And then studying a lot. I've been studying so much book Bookmap and charts and different type of plays, right? As you can see, no matter what, a penny came up today. TANH, I did trade that, but there was a lot of things that kept me safe and then really green on this trade, even though it gave about 20% and then again 10% on the second ads, and I'll show that. But I love me some pennies. Why? Because I can size into them and then the return on them. But that's okay. I traded TANH and VOXX, so I'm gonna go over those two and really do a quick breakdown on these. Daily wise, I saw TANH and had a lot of volume. It had about like 56 mil into open. Uh, 52-week high, yes, but for a penny, ideally, we're cranking more. It closed at 143. But I thought maybe potentially we go for this window gap right here on the daily. That didn't happen. Maybe in a stronger market, maybe this sets up and we start to gap up and we test this window gap. But we'll see. I thought maybe we had a potential higher high structure on this one. We did get that week open, so I was interested. And then where we were pulling back was a particular area right here in the daily. So this kind of filled that area, and now we're gapping up above this area. This was a week open, and you can kind of see how this made the move right here, candlestick wise. I thought this was a good secondary add, right? This was my first entry, right? I like to soak, like to see where it's basing, holding up. Structure wise too, wasn't a bad spot on this one when this kind of pulled back and consolidated. There's a lot of consolidation over here and then above pivots over here. So I was watching that one real closely. Again, secondary add entry right here. This was nice because it held open print. All right, definitely going to break over the book on this one, why I took it. And also particular area up here where I knew this needed to go. There's plenty of things on the book that help with that. You had to be definitely using the level 2 because there was a lot of you can see like up here, right at the very top right here. There's 124K that went through. There wasn't any liquidity right here, so you have other exchanges or a possible hidden seller, either or. But it's nice to see the aggressive volume dots on that one. All right, this is where I started to take some shares while this did not break down. This is a very key point to me. This needs to stay heavy and then kind of give out. They did have a nice front runner down here. You can see at 20. So while I was accumulating, I made sure I stayed in that range where I knew my risk would have been 20 cents, right? Boom. This secondary entry right here, this I wanted to see hold. To me, this is still an area of interest because there's liquidity. So I did add some more right here because we did have some bids. Now, this is where once that trade starts to break out and stall up here, it pulls back. There's that bid, right? So as this is breaking out, they pull the bid and then they stack it again right here for this secondary swipe. They pull that bid again and they pull this one again over here. Once I started seeing buyers get absorbed and there's no breakout or maybe a bid underneath to help shove that, and plus the level 2, there wasn't really a lot of like crazy bid support. And on the way up, there were some huge orders, like 900,000, 480,000 shares that needed to get taken out, and there was no follow through after those offers were taken out. And then in particular, you can see the bids pulling out. So that really needed to go. And you put that into context, this makes a micro high, so a micro clear out. That needed to go, right? So as this starts to kind of flag up here on the one, this is what it looks like on the book. And you can kind of see it's losing support. So that kept me safe. And yeah, it only went 20% and then actually 10% from this add to highs. But The best thing about the understanding structure and seeing this, that this had to go, because now we're entering into the supply zone, and I really wanted this to break above that and then go parabolic. That did not happen. Maybe in a stronger penny market, I will definitely be still there, trading these the same way I trade them, and once we start to kind of get a better market for the penny land, then we'll start to see more return, or I'll start to see more return. Nonetheless, from here to there, that's 20, and then this was 10. So it was a good trade. And then, I can't tell you that the book helped me just get out and kind of see that it was starting to get weak, and then the bids were getting pulled, so I don't want to get stuck. And then all of a sudden it comes all the way back down to my average right here, and I'm looking all crazy. You can clearly see how heavy, the offer side started to get right there, right? So it did get heavy. They started stacking 100K, started stacking some more liquidity up here, and then it just dumped and gave out, right? So that front runner did get sold into, and it's funny because they did a little book flip right here, right? This is the offer side. As soon as that front runner got cracked at 20 cents, they immediately threw a huge 300K offer up, all right? Important, right? It tried to retest this previous area of liquidity. No follow through, right? Did not swipe, no bid follow up, and then it stayed heavy. Okay, tried it again right here, and then eventually closed out down here in the 16s. Okay, I talk about gap fills, right? This thing filled its gap to the downside, right? Still closed up 20%. Boohoo! On paper, it's up 20%, but I talked about gap fills a lot, in one of my videos. And something I go over with J-Rud a lot is that we're playing gappers. They're gonna fill them one way or the other. Just need to keep applying structure and knowing when we have max volume, right? This is 4.2 mil on the 1 minute, and no more follow through after that, and just how they set up the liquidity up here on the book. Okay, VOXX. This was a great trade. I did enter. We just recently seen some structure like this on ASST, right? These big dumps, these huge swipes down, consolidates, and particularly for this one right here. Oh, let me go back over. That was the second trade. It's right here. It's funny how they auction the price, very similar. All right, where we're having these huge dumps, right? We're having some dumps, really quick swipes down, and then you kind of see them swipe liquidity. This area in particular is great because this is over a previous breakout area. Okay, this is where I entered after this huge dump right here. As you can see right there, there's 166,000 bidder right here. If you see right here, they kind of thinned it out a little bit. They started to pull it, and then it got sold into, and actually pulled it right here. Okay, and then you can see all that liquidity dumping. So this particular bid, guys, did not fully get sold into. They lightened it up, right, and then it gets pulled, and then you see the dump come. Okay, this was a huge swipe down. This had no follow through, and this is a particular strong area right here. Not only is it point of control, this is a particular area where a lot of liquidity ran through this price level. All right, this is really a nice area. We've seen something very similar on ASST recently. It's always nice to keep studying and stay on top of things and structure and recognize chart patterns and things like that, right? That's what I did last week. Very particular. It was to keep studying, and then you kind of see similar price action move into these stocks, and then they switch it up and they switch it up and they switch it up. It's all about adapting. Had a great conversation with some of the guys I was studying with today, and it's being able to adapt to market conditions and how they're setting up and auctioning the price or manipulating it, or how are they getting it from point A to point B. Don't need to complicate it. All right, but this is where I took an entry. I actually slapped this pretty hard because of this dump and they'll follow through, and time and sales actually started to dry up on the sell side. So whoever tried to come in here and sell this got exhausted. So sellers did get exhausted down here, but this was over a previous breakdown. This is the whole point of bringing up ASST. was that this actually did something very similar where this is a breakdown zone, tries to break out, it pulls back really quick dump, fast dump right here, in particular over this previous breakdown zone. I like to trade zones, breakdown zones, right? Like the soak, and it's very easy because I enter this trade, and if it gets really heavy, I stop out for a small percent loss. But instead of that, I actually caught a really nice move to the upside, and this was actually a really great trade for me on this one. All right, secondary ad, but secondary ad, this goes to J-Rod on this one. We were chatting and talking about a secondary entry. All right, he actually added before this guy actually broke out right here. All right, and then I ended up joining him before this offer actually broke out. I really thought this was a nice, good secondary entry right here too, above this previous area of liquidity that got taken out. And then, there's a couple things, right? Let me pull this up. This is a day one move. A day one move, particularly with a lot of volume. And actually, it's probably going to close. It's actually 2000, so the market closed. So we're actually closing up pretty high at VWAP. So we'll be looking for a day two, or if this likes to set up a liquidity trap, inside bar play, whatever may happen. My point is that this is a day one move. And this had a lot of volume. All right, there's actually plenty of good opportunities to play this over here, and things like that. Let me pull up that dump. Okay, this was that dump that I entered before it actually broke out. I thought that was really great. There's a couple of things that I focus on and look for, particular rubber band effect that happened at 9:51 on this one, and then this candle that's stuffed with no follow through, and then it pulled back right into that area. These candlesticks are cool, but I really tell you right here, when I see how they're structuring this, and then watching ASST run the other day, was great. Or sorry, 2 days ago, was really, really great. All right, that's why I took the trade. That was something to look over in the beginning, and then this trade right here, okay, rotation. Stocks that have a lot of volume, sometimes they rotate. All right, and it's like, when do they rotate? What are some good key signals? How are they auctioning the price and things like that, right? I drew another breakdown zone right here. I missed it by a little, but when I'm trading this, I know, hey, I want to start either adding or accumulating above a breakdown zone, or if we pull back into it, right? And then I want to see that particular breakdown zone base or hold, right? Whether that breakdown zone comes in and the tape starts to get less active on the sell side and buyers kind of step up, or I like to see it soak, accumulate maybe a particular size that's going through time and sales, and so on, right? It's very important. I traded Mullen the other day for its rotation, and I thought that was really, really great. Okay, I have my breakdown zone right here. All right, I did not catch this move, but I actually caught this rotation for highs. All right, also the book was phenomenal on this, but this was that breakdown zone actually on the 1 and 2. This was like such a great trade for me for a few reasons. Real quick, break this down. I started to soak and accumulate above this breakdown zone once we started to reclaim it, and it tapped that zone so many times here, pulls back, gets really close to, my average had 49s on this one, low 49s, and then all of a sudden I thought I was going to break out, and it dumps out right here, coming above my average, and it finally swiped, made new highs, right? This is that false 1 minute flag breakout too. Very important to see once new volume comes in. Bookwise, Bookwise 2, that's that zone that I was talking about right here. All right, and then you can also, guys, if you guys got the book, you can also make your little zones right here with the rectangle, right, and draw them out. So maybe right here. Why is it not doing it? Oh, okay, right here. All right, so I started to accumulate and soak this above 49s, and it just tapped it so many times, and then it finally went. It was nice to see a couple of things on this one. Right here was right here when they actually had this offer right here, someone came and slapped it 140K, removed this liquidity, and then we kind of retested this whole area. And then there was actually a couple things, weird things going on. Some weird spoof bids right here, right there. Someone threw up 70-70 a couple times, and they finally stuck it right there at 46.80s. And then it actually broke out, which was nice to see right here. That was a great trade. I think it was 20%. I got a 20% on that, and I was actually red that day a little bit. Yeah, 15%. 15% on some decent size was great. That was when TOS was lagging and freezing and stuff, and it was just nuts. Kind of get chopped up on ASST in the beginning, and then actually caught a good move on that one. That's all I got, guys. I want to go over a few things. I've been busy doing stuff, just really studying. You guys can see, I got a bunch of names up here. I've been studying trading. NITO was great too. I wish I would have paid more attention to that. I kind of like played it high, so I had to sell it high. Not something I really like to do, but that was another one that was really good. But I keep all these names up. MNCS too, I've been following, but I go back and I study how over and over and over again, like what type of daily is. Some guy asked me like, how are you categorizing or how are you doing this? I make sure I focus on the daily, how they open, where's the volume, what's open volume, open market volume, right? What's the structure behind it after our move, pre-market move? What time did it go? Those are all those things I've really been focused on and studying and hammering away, right? And it's paying off times 10. So make sure you guys keep studying, stay on top of things. If you're gonna do this full time, you just dive in and then find a group of people who are gonna dive in with you and who are doing, are on the same mission as you. So that's all I got, guys. Much love. Peace out, Mikey.